Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Haribo, everyone. Hare Krishna. This was our Ananga Manjari. Thank you, Ananga Manjari, for singing. I think I will not sing really because voice is also there. I just want to ask one of you, perhaps Valentina, are you here? Good. Can you please give me the 7th canto, 7th chapter, verse 38. You don't need to write it on any blackboard, but just the book. 7, 38. Yes? Good. Yes. Anandi, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So, I have something very, very, very important to share. First, I will share a point. Krishna is the nearest. You will be surprised. And then I will just give you a personal reflection about the festival, which I feel is something good to say in parting as we leave this place now. I'm a little, the voice is just exhausted. There's, by Krishna's mercy, no illness or so. Can you hear me, or do I have to press that special button? Good, you can hear. Good. We can have a just short, deep Jayarada Madhava. Jayarada Madhava Kunyavi Radha Madhava Kunya Vihari Gopi Janavallava Girivala Hani Gopi Janavallava Girivara Dani Yasodanandana Rajajananandana Yasodanandana Rajajana Dandana Yamuna Tira Vana Cha Yamuna Tira Vanacha Yamuna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everybody, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Nityananda Ram, Nityananda Ram, Nityananda Ram, Jaya Nityananda Ram, Jaya Nityananda Ram, Nityananda Ram, Nityananda Ram, Jaya Nityananda Ram, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Radha Madan Mohan Sri Radhe. Mohan Sri Radhe. Hey, hey, Sri Radhe. Hey, Sri Radhe. Hey, Sri Radhe. Shyam. Thank you very much. Uno momento. My dear devotees, I will not give a formal Bhagavatam class, but the Bhagavatam will be included. Please let us offer our obeisances to Srila Prabhupada, and through this to our glorious parampara. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Vachanine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Bhaskatyade Satanine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna. My dear devotees, perhaps 20 years ago, one of my good friends in Krishna consciousness, His Grace Burijan Prabhu, said to me, Sacinandana Swami, we need to do something to help our devotees go deeper. And I said, but that's a highly individual affair. You know, each one has to do that on their own. And he said, yes, but we should give them an inspiration, an impetus. Why don't we invite them to one of the holiest places on this earth where the Lord is manifested, Sakshat Bhagavan, we say, in the valley of Giriraj Govardhan. So we started to give these Govardhan retreats, and very carefully approached the subject matter of talking more about Krishna, being more conscious of Krishna. Soon, devotees in a special situation picked up on this. What was the special situation of the devotees? They were dying. You know, devotees with terminal cancer and these things, they started to listen to the recordings. And I remember one time a dying devotee was carried there, brought there, and we arranged a mattress under a tree, and the devotee was already so weak. I was lying on the mattress and listening to the talks, and 2 weeks later she left her body surrounded by devotees in her bed in the MVT building. So Also we heard our God brothers, I remember Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, listened to the recordings because they felt in that special atmosphere it was something came through to through the words. My dear devotees, notes are not music. Words are not yet Krishna conscious or bhakti, but words can carry bhakti, and notes can carry music, if that is right. I don't know. Do we say notes carry music? You know what I want to express, no? They give a hint towards music, I would say. No, notes give a hint towards music. Words give a hint towards truth. But you have to discover it yourself. So, yes. So, then, about 2 years, so it was going on, and not only dying devotees, but there are sometimes a big audience. We have to close the registration because it's not possible to provide rooms and nourishing prasadam for when you have reached a certain limit. For us, at least, not. So it was going on. And then 3 years ago, I said to Purijan, I think this is not working. By then, the retreats were very well visited. A retreat center had been built, but I felt we are just giving lecture after lecture after lecture after lecture. Dang, 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 dang. Where is the idea of a retreat where someone takes information, brings it into a space where they are alone, and processes and relates to Krishna during this time? And then we discussed about it, and Purijan Prabhu, who's a teacher, crafted a very interesting concept out of it and a practice. He called it Alone with Krishna. What this is we you leave, you come to Govardhan, you go down the path in the forest, and then you go to your right and find your spot under a tree, and you have some a retreat kit with you. A kit means something in a folder, and there are pictures. There's a cloth where you can make your own altar, and pictures, and there are incense and matches so that you can offer an aratik, and then there are prompts, and then there is nothing. No talks, mobile telephones are switched off. And you are alone. Monam means silence. No one is speaking. And in that time, remember, it was not just alone, it was alone with, with Krishna, yes. And then you need to relate to Krishna. Some can do free writing, that's a method to contact the subconscious mind, and bring out the deeper things that are buried there. Others, this is what I do, they can chant japa. Others sing bhakta, sing bhajans, or others just talk to Krishna, yes, in the mind. And as they are filling this space alone with Krishna, this place, this space of being silent and being by themselves, so to say, they learn this important core principles of bhakti, that is to relate to Krishna. As you have heard many times, bhakti is not about what others do or not do. Bhakti is what you do in relationship to Krishna. And sometimes something awakens. I have been, a few years, I don't know, was it weeks or days ago? Things go so quick. I talked to one of there was a couple, yoga teachers, not you and Andre, the other couple, and I asked them what, and they came. Actually, not the couple. The man had to work. The lady came, and I for the first time in Giriraj, in this type of retreat, and I said, what was the best thing for you? And she said, it's a very nice person. It's a coach who coaches the CEO of the Bosch company, Bosch in Germany. Every second refrigerator is from Bosch, So there's a very, she can think. She has to think in her work. So she said, I really became convinced of Krishna and Krishna consciousness in the Alone with Krishna sessions. And and another person said, in the beginning it was a little uncomfortable for me because I just have not learned to relate to Krishna. Now there was nothing else than this, and I didn't know how to do this. You threw me in the deep end. What this means is a big swimming pool has two ends. One is where you go in and then you walk. It gets deeper, 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 deeper. That's the, I don't know if there's a word, but I call it the flat end. Then there is the deep end. That's the other side. There you have no ground under your feet when you are jumping in the water. It's very deep. So you threw us in the deep end. And they said, we always say that's the intention of this, because this is how you learn swimming. When you have heard about swimming courses or have taken swimming classes, you cannot learn by hearing the words of the instructor. Do you know this? You learn swimming by swimming. You learn bhakti by executing the processes of bhakti. So at one point you must relate to Krishna. Most of you do this when they are really in high trouble. When their life crashes down, divorce or death of a child or election of the new American president, for whatever. I'm little joking. You do this, but this is something which we want to do every day in our lives. We don't want to turn to the Lord only when we are in trouble. We want to always turn to the Lord because in one way we are always in trouble. We are here in this world, not in our original real life. We are the soul in the body, and we are busy only to maintain something that we have to give up sooner or later. We are working, we are building sand castles on the ocean, knowing well that incoming tide will soon take away all our sandcastles. We know it, but by a psychological process called repression or suppression. I'm not yet 100% sure which is one. So by you just, this is called avidya. You invest in the temporary, thinking it to be the real stuff, and you forget the real thing, and so on. So we are always in trouble in that, from that perspective. So we found out that the devotees who were engaging in this alone with Krishna thing, project, I mean, there was, first we spread out in the whole forest, but then one morning we heard, ah! We thought, what is this? Ah! It was one of our members who had to run away from a snake. Hare Krishna! This is going on. I said to the person, don't fear snakes. The Lord has said, anyone who worships him at Govardhan is protected from snakes. We never heard of a snake bite all these years. But then we understood our Western audience has to be a little carefully treated. So we had an area, and we have now a man with a stick. A snake guard is there. But we have not made it so public because we fear no one will come to the Govardhan retreats when they know. Now it's absolutely safe. Absolutely safe. I swear by my woolen jacket. Yeah, you may say the woolen jacket is not very important to you. But anyways, Hare Krishna. So, in this time, when we turn to Krishna, a grave doubt raises its head. What if I turn to Krishna and he is not there? Either he is a religious belief only, or he is so distant that he does not interfere, or let us say, does not come to this material plane. Do you know of this doubt in a personal way? You know? Philo? Ist manchmal auch da der Zweifel, oder? What if no one is there when I turn to him? Or at least he may be there, but he does not respond and reciprocate because I'm so fallen. By now, is everyone understanding what we are? This is a doubt that is absolutely natural. But if this doubt is not cleared on an individual process, we just will not take the process of bhakti so serious. How can we? How can you make a phone call and you know there is no one there on the other side, or he will not pick up? After some time of trying, you will put the mobile telephone to the side. That maybe throw it in the river. It doesn't work. So I would like to address this point. I would like to address it from 2 points of views: the psychological and the Krishna conscious view. But I don't have time for the. There's a psychologist who spoke of the close and the distant God, and I thought it was a good point. But here I want to just go from the Bhagavatam point. There is someone who had great faith that Krishna is there in the Bhagavatam. His name is Prahlad Maharaj. You know at his hour of, when he was threatened by his own father with a sharp sword, Schwert. The father asked one last question. If there is a God who protects you, let him protect you now. Where is he? Prahlad said, everywhere. He had so much faith. Well, why not be concrete? Is he there in the pillar? Of course, said Prahlad, and the Lord appeared from the pillar. So this faith that the Lord is there is important. And Prahlad wanted to give his own faith to his friends in school. They played, they were friends, and he thought, let me give them the best thing I have. So in the Bhagavatam, he says, Koti prayaso surobalakaharya, O my friends, son of the Asuras, Upasane Svekhritichitravatsata, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as the Super Soul, always exists within the core of the heart. That means that the middle or the inner part of the heart of all living entities. And then, what is he? Is he just there? Does he, or any relationship he has with the living entities? Yes. Yes, says Prahlad. Indeed, he is the well-wisher and friend of all living entities. And there is absolutely no difficulty in worshipping the Lord. Why then should people not engage in devotional service? Why are they so addicted to unnecessarily producing artificial paraphernalia for sense gratification? Or we could say, why are they so addicted to build their sandcastles at the beach of the ocean of time, Why? He's here, the Lord. He's the well-wisher and friend. There's no difficulty in worshipping him. And in the purport, Prabhupada gives an analogy of the Lord. I think I said it before. He compares Krishna with the sky, who's everywhere. Can you see the sky everywhere? The air, can you see? No, of course not, unless there is incense and then a breeze comes in. You see there's something moving the smoke, but now we cannot see the air. But still we can touch the sky. If you don't need to do it. If you do like this, there's something there. The sense of touch immediately picks up the vibration. This is a little cool air, I would say. Let me now use my intellect. It's a little bit used up, but not fully used up. I can breathe in. Yeah, it doesn't have so much oxygen. Maybe 80% of what is good. I can perceive the air through certain methods. In the same way, the invisible Lord can be perceived through the processes of devotional service. Our Srila Prabhupada says, as soon as one hears of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna Kirtan, one immediately comes in touch with the Lord. A devotee can come immediately in touch with the Lord by any of these items of devotional service. And then he says, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam padasevanam Achanam vandanam dasyam sakyam Madhujana, the cold air immediately. But we have to put from time to time. Yeah, I'm sorry. When your voice is so exhausted, little cold air, bang, it's gone. Therefore, we need something instead of air conditioning. It's not healthy for the voice. Good, anyways, no problem. So, the Mundaka Upanishad. My God. One moment, there's Ricolo, whatever this is. It has to go to the vocal cord. Good. The Mundaka Upanishad says, Sayujo Sakayo, the Lord is the friend of the living entity. My dear devotees, it's easy to contact him, the Prahlad says. He can be compared to the sky, which although he is so vast, he is in the reach of all. And Prabhupada says that the Lord is friendly to all living entities. That means he remains within the heart, so that one can always contact him without difficulty. Koti prayasha. Prayasha means tremendous difficulty. No, without difficulty you can reach him. As soon as you hear about the Lord, Krishna Kirtan, one immediately comes in touch with the Krishna. The gopis also say, Krishna, you are the dearmost friend of all embodied souls. That means, Tanubritam means those who have taken a body. It's you and me. You are their most intimate relative, and indeed their very self. There is a Vedic saying, it says, if you have a relative, you don't need to care about your food, your dress, and your medicine. You can always get it from your relative. So in this way, Krishna will always supply your needs. That's why the gopis say, you're the relative. Nahe, ein naher Verwandter. So, and Prabhupada said he is the well-wisher. Listen how Krishna is the well-wisher according to this Bhagavatam perspective. He says, I want to speak now about my heart, Krishna says, how I feel love and gratitude. He says, others may be grateful for gifts that have already been given, but I'm grateful for gifts that will be given in the future, and I reciprocate with these gifts even before they are given. You might think, is this possible? Yes, it is possible. I want to give you a personal example. I have this problem. I have two glasses, one to read, and the other is in there for darshan, for distance. And now the devotees from Neuruppin have decided to give me a birthday present where these glasses are in one. They are modern glasses. When you look like a little up, you can see in the distance. When you look down, you can see what is on the pages. Because they have seen me, I always see what is which glass I now need, and where are they, and so on. So this will be given in the future. Now I still have to go to India with two glasses, and I will have to look and make everyone. Where are my glasses? What glasses? Distance darshan glasses. Where are my reading glasses? and so now this will be solved, but it is solved in the future. And of course I'm unlimitedly grateful to the devotees. So Krishna is much, much more like this. He will know, now my devotees are still a little bit covered, and they only turn to me when they are in difficulty. But they will purify themselves as long as they practice Shravanam, Kirtanam, and all these processes. And I'm already investing into them. I'm grateful for them. I'm already there. And I think many of us have experienced during the festival a certain lightness. Yes, it was physically, I think, demanding for some of us. Mentally also, the program was quite dense. There was not so much time. But many of us have experienced a lightness in the heart, and that was given by the Lord. That is from the Lord, who has appeared kindly. So, my dear devotees, I feel that many of you have become brainwashed by material society and by some not so careful presenters of the Bhagavatam teachings to think that Krishna is too high. This is too high. This is not for me. No, I cannot hear about these things. That's forbidden. And only very occasionally you break this the rule that Krishna is too far for you, and you turn to him. But if you could understand these statements from the scriptures, which are not speculations, they are eternal truth, and align your life, ausrichten in German, or arrange your life in such a way that you are building on this fact, I think everything would look different. I'm always saying to the devotees, what if Krishna is really there for you? What would that? He can do everything. He can take care of every aspect of your conditional needs and your eternal needs. He's there. And you can turn to him. Isn't it when we know there's someone very wealthy and he's friendly towards us, we stop to worry, because we can always we need a little dough, in the hands, we don't worry. Oh, I remember once, that was so endearing. We were driving with a car through the back roads of Giriraj, and we have a few friends, and one is Ram Krishnan, who is a heart of, he's a Brijbasi. So we were driving very fast. I was too late. I needed to come to a lecture. And in the midst of it, it was dusk time, also Abenddämmerung. We couldn't see so clearly. And I was just in my notes and said, Ram Krishna, jaldi. Fast, Hanuman style driving, and Ram Krishna, Tika Maharaj, all of a sudden he hits the brakes. And there are 3 children playing on the road with a bottle of Bisleri water, totally absorbed in play. And Ramakrishnan goes, Bacha means children. And we are looking, they're having a good time. And they look, the car is there, but they are playing, this is more important for them at this moment. And then Ramakrishnan, in his English, it's a Brijbasi English, he says, I can't say it like he said, children, no worry. The children have no worry because they know parent is watching. The parents are there and they're watching over everything. And then he says, like the Brijbasis, we Brijbasi also no chinta. Chinta means anxiety. We have no anxiety because we know Krishna is watching over us. Beautiful, no? Beautiful. And then he gets out of the car and he says, "Hey!" That's how they deal with each other. And children, and then the children go, and he drives by and goes. It's a different culture, different. This is a sign of love. When a Brijbasi has accepted you, he will give you a slap, But you feel it's love when they do. So Krishna is there all the time. It's here, Sayojo Sakayo. He's there in the heart. We are like two birds in the heart, the Jiva and so on. And Jiva and Krishna is watching. He's a close God. And he can be reached by certain processes. Yes, he is invisible for our eyes, but there are processes in which he appears. He says to the gopis, Shravanat Dashanam Dashanat Dhyayan, transcendental. So by love you can see him. And this transcendental love for me arises by the devotional processes of hearing about me. We hear a lot about me. Seeing my deity form. Meditating about me. Dhyayan. Meditating. And faithfully chanting my glories. I see Gaurahari takes a note. This is in 10:29:27. Actually, he says this to the wives of the Brahmanas. If you want to see me, you need love in your heart, the eyes of love. And this comes by the devotional processes of hearing Krishna Katha, looking at the deity of Krishna, meditating about Krishna, like we have carefully and slowly presented yesterday, and faithfully chanting my glories. No? This is how. But by hearing about Krishna, it's almost like hearing about a wonderful person and thinking, I would love to meet him. And then, as you hear more, you think about this person. And then finally, when you have heard about Krishna and thought about Krishna, you think sankalpa. You get a sankalpa that means, I must pursue this. I must come to Krishna. This is most important. These are the processes of bhakti. Hare Krishna. Have you understood? The Lord is close. He is distant, not distant. But you need to see that somehow you develop your relationship by him. He will only show himself when you love him. And that has to be arisen by the bhakti processes by which you first think he is interesting, Krishna is interesting, then you start to think about him, then you decide, now my life goes in this direction. Seriously, this is what is the... I want to say something now personally. I will put the notes to rest. mm, mm, my devotees, my dear, not my devotees, my dear devotees, mm, change is possible in every situation. Change is possible. The desired change is possible. I was thinking about the festival, and for me, really, what I carry with me is this bed. You know, I will never use it most probably, because ergonomically, for the spine when you're elderly, it's maybe not the ideal thing, because you will you will lie like this. And those who are older, they have to think of health things. But still, I will carry this bed with me, perhaps for the rest of my life, because it is an expression for something. Can you imagine? This was ordered in Vrindavan. This is bamboo and so on. Then I heard it is a custom-made bed. In other words, usually these things, where you rest, this is now plastic. Vrindavan has not heard about the harmfulness of microplastic. They think it is more interesting than natural fibers, because it's more modern, No, this is the natural thing. Do you know, Krishna Murari, from what they make these things, these ropes? Jute or hemp plant, yes, something like, I would also say like this is a plant from which the rope is made. And it was somehow disassembled, and then it was brought together here, and the whole festival for me is like this. The elements were taken, like images of Vrinda Devi, they were taken, incense was taken, poesy was the poesy? Yes, in the song which we heard, poesy was taken, words were taken, kirtans were made, clownery was there for village entertainment, and everything. These are all elements from this world, but they were brought together with an ingredient that can be only found in the heart, that is affection or love. You wanted to make a wonderful festival, Nityananda Trayodasi, and a wonderful birthday festival, and you know that unfortunately I get quickly bored, and you need to do something that I have still a little child in me, and yes, affection brought all these elements together. Can you perhaps live in your life a life where you bring to all the things which you do affection, enthusiasm, spirit? If you please, after this festival, make a walk alone, and alone with Krishna, and think, is there something I can take from here? I have my affection bed, I take that with me in my memory. Is there something that can bring all the elements of my life, which are there? My partnerships, many of you are married, I understand. My work, perhaps. My sadhana, my worship, all these elements in their life, in your life, can it be brought together through affection? If it can, you will take the spirit of the festival with you, and your life will turn into affection, into a festival. I had to go through the tough school in my life. I came into a movement that was very young and very there was no security in any place, and we did things without experience, without knowledge, without any money. We had no money, our life was unthinkable by modern terms. We rented an apartment without having money, and often we were 3 months late, and then boom, some envelope was in the briefkasten, how do you say, mailbox with the required Lakshmi. All the time. I have seen many times, several times I was in hospital, and doctor said, yeah, you live like you might die. We can only help so much. You are so weak from your crazy lifestyle, I said, but I like it. That's not an argument, said the doctors. So I had to go through the tough school in life, and what life has taught me, there was always, we traveled for so many years. We didn't know where we would spend the night, Often it was in the kitchen of some hippies which we shared with 4 cats and their young children, and it was dirty, and there was loud music, and there was the smell of whatever they smoke, and then the next day we at the university, we have to talk as if we know something, and so on. It was a very, very adventurous, unpredictable life, and I had to learn one thing: is where do I have some security? Where do I have some? Where can I rest my soul? And I learned, I always try to chant as good as I can. It's not very good because I have a very, very creative mind. Gohari can tell you, But I have understood this one thing. I need an eye in the storm. This is an expression which means there is a storm, whirlwind, but there's one place in the middle which is peaceful, and they call this the eye of the storm. I need a place which is peaceful, where my heart, my mind, and my intelligence and everything can find rest. And it has become, by Prabhupada's grace, my relationship with Krishna. And I had to overcome the idea he is a distant God. I had to overcome it. First it was unconscious, and now it is, now I needed to find, is it in the scriptures, or is this just my fanciful imagination? Is it just Prabhupada say about this? Because I'm his disciple, and in spiritual matters I depend entirely on him and his vision. So, and I can say now, as a so-called old man, I'm only 40 years old, really, but so-called in the world, they call me older and an old man. They're so wrong. I can really say that resting point where the intelligence, the mind, which often produces anxieties, what will be in the future with me and this and that, that is Krishna. And I encourage you to when you leave this festival, to take this with you and to think about this, digest it. How can I increase my relationship with Krishna? Hare Krishna. Finished! I have said what I wanted to say. What do you think? It's difficult. What do I do? Am I supposed to say something? Here, turn to your neighbor. This is the easiest way to do. And Gita, you have neighbors? Yes. Yes. Please find a neighbor you feel confident to talk to. You can also go by the three, it's a... Neva, you have found your neighbor? Gaurahari, wow. Deepak, you have found your neighbor? Yes, good. I will go with Gadadhar. Gadadhar, wir haben hier einen tollen Sitzplatz. Da kann man sich so draufsetzen. Wir würden oder so, ich würde die vorschlagen, weil der Anstalt singt. Du schaffst das schon. So, warte mal, ich muss jetzt den jungen Leuten sagen, was sie tun sollen. Und dann machen wir das etwas Ähnliches. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna. Yes. Thank you. I see you are enthusiastic to share. Now, what do we have to share? You are laughing, but yes, no. So, please, and please do it. First of all, I would say 2 questions. What was your highlight of the fest? No, then you forget the lecture. Let's first start with the lecture. What do you think about this idea of a close God? Close means near, not far away, who is a well-wisher and to whom you can turn through the processes of bhakti. This you need to share. And then I will give you a ring for the second sharing, which will be very pleasant. And we will do this brief. So, what do I think about this idea of a close God to whom I can turn because he's my well-wisher? Please share with your neighbor. Zweite. Hare Krishna. It was very nice to see you from here. You were really sharing and discussing. Now at the end we will just have a 2-minute thing. You really have to be attentive and shoot your answer. What was my personal highlight during the festival of Nityananda Trayodasi? Start now.
Also mein Highlight war das Bild. Also ich schaue ja über das Bild hinaus. Du weißt ja, ich habe ja und wie die das alles, man kam rein, wir haben sich bemüht, das war dann noch das so Lebenswort, weil die es nicht interessiert und das ist doch ein Leben. Und dann wissen Sie, dieser Clown, der ist so magisch, ist dann auch nicht von Superman. Sehr ein Clown. Ja, ein Clown. Aber das ist halt zusammen. Und ich sage, wenn man Kali Yuga ein bisschen Liebe verstehen kann. Auch manchmal ist es so hart genug, wenn ich da an solche Leute denke, die kann ja mal daneben liegen.
Ich muss das beenden, ja. Danke. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. What remains to be said is thank you, thank you, thank you. You created a festival in which I could really, I would say, grow in some ways, because there was always the theme Vrindavan, and Vrindavan is an unlimited theme in which you can grow into more and more. But for me, the most important thing is this affection, you know. Even in the Kali Yuga, we can just have a little kindness, affection, something like appreciation, love is a big word, and it's a little vague also. So maybe affection, appreciation, kindness, humanness also. Humanness, I mean with this word, the ability or willingness to look over the mistakes which come with life, you know. A person who has some humanness and is not just living in the where do you say, in the world of correct, this is the, you know, but in the kindness, oh yes, oh, the magician made a mistake, you know, no problem, we laugh anyways, you know, and so on. This is another, I would say, trans-rational dimension in which we as human beings can be humans and feel well and look towards the transcendental world without stress, you know. So I wish you all the best. We will end here. I have seen some of our devotees needed to quickly leave because of obligations. So I will end here. I will not take questions. You have all discussed amongst yourself and have answered your own questions together, hopefully. So good. I must say, as I say every day, every year, you have all written letters to me with wonderful content. I had the chance to read a few of the letters yesterday before going to bed. And I will not be able to answer all the letters because my life has become so busy, but I will look at the content of the letter and write one letter of reflection of the festival, where I will also summarize some of the important messages which I wanted to give you during the festival, and that will be available on the disciple WhatsApp group, or what is it? What is it? Is it this where all disciples? Is it WhatsApp group or? Yeah.
We have both.
Oh, we have both emails and everything. What? Email and WhatsApp. Yes, it will be available for you, this is how I try to reciprocate. Thank you also. I have looked a little on the gifts yesterday, but I was not knowing where my room was. I was so tired. And when I was in the room, I didn't know where the bed was. Little tired. So yes, I thank you. I've seen already some. I will look at the others when I return from India, and let's stay connected in some ways. I will be in Europe when I return to India. Something I can really recommend, but I don't know if they still have places, is the summer camp in the beautiful Alps of Switzerland. It's the Bhakti retreat in Switzerland. If you consider coming there, if it's possible, first you have to Google Bhakti retreat, I think, Bhakti retreat, and then see, and sorry, if you want, you have to come. Sorry, you have to register immediately. God. So now I should be silent. I need a little bit voice for the voicemails, which I have to say today. So I have to say thank you very much, and Nityananda Rama ki jai. Nityananda Rama ki jai. Please say Nityananda Rama ki jai. Hare Krishna. Have a safe journey and never come back to your old life. Hare Krishna. Danke, Anali, Radha. Das wird immer besser, glaube ich. Ich hätte besonders gedacht, wie sie gelesen hat über Krishna. Komm mal, wie sie gelesen hat. Das war noch ein bisschen frei. Also, ich denke, wir müssen nochmal sprechen. Ich habe nicht so viel spielen, aber ich finde, du hast ja die ganze Zeit die Melodie im Kopf. Weißt du, wenn man spielt und man verlässt total die Grundmelodie, dann fragt man sich, warum jetzt das? Aber wenn es spielt und es ist irgendeine Weise gefühlsmäßig Bezug, das macht schon sehr gut. Kontext.